city of Jerusalem, and we're going to be exploring King Hezekiah, or King Hezekiah's wall that he built to fortify the city in the time of Sennacherib, 2,700 years ago. We're going to go down and see some cool stuff with a little bit of an insider's view to what it's like to grow up here in the old city. So I'm going to say thank you to my friend Simcha here, who's helping me with the camera and with all this stuff. And we are going to be doing this video operation of going down there and trying to make it while we're taking pictures at the same time. So I guess we'll put the book here. You'll pass it to me and then, okay? All right. So this is what we used to do when we were much younger. All right, so you're going to pass that to me here and bring me the books. And part of the story is that as children, when we would walk down here, the neighbor, who by the way was willing to be interviewed, but not today, probably tomorrow, would always complain that the kids would be passing down here making noise, because that is his living room right there, as you can see. So, shh. Now, you know that Americans have visited this place because there's the Oreos. Anyway, here's the wall. We are walking down. We are right now inside the walls of Jerusalem's old city from First Temple period. And this whole area was unprotected during this time. And when the Assyrian invasion was coming, after King Hezekiah rebelled, which means he doesn't pay taxes, rebelled against Assyria, allied with Egypt in the south and with Babylon way back in Mesopotamia, kind of as a buffer between him and Assyria. So Sennacherib came and attacked. So he haphazardly built this wall. We're going to be exploring some details about this wall. So let's hop on. All right, you okay? Here. Now, a bit of a view around here. So this wall was excavated in the late 60s after the Six-Day War, after this place was basically in ruins, which gave us an opportunity to dig down, build foundations, and this wall was discovered. Here's a map, which you can see also from the top, where the tour guides usually take you. But down here, you can see what the wall looks like. You see the map? There. The black walls are the wall of Suleiman the Magnificent, which are roughly 500 years old. That is the Temple Mount, and you're looking down. This is called the Western Hill, which is where we are at right now. See that little gamma shape? Right? Anyway, so that's where we were, and the city of David down here to the south, because you know, north, south, east, west. So are we looking at this correctly? Yeah, there's north. Good, I thought so. So there's the south. That's the city of David. Here, you got that? Here, I'll hold the books. Okay. Now we're going to take a look at a few things about this wall. So from the excavations that were just recently published, and it was published that these walls were actually covered up by the time of the Babylonians, which means that they were only operational for a very short amount of time during the Assyrian invasion. But after that, during the Assyrian campaign, because they did not manage to actually destroy Jerusalem, but they heavily devastated Judah. So this place was all covered. Now this was dated to Hezekiah based on all kinds of finds from the area, stratigraphy and so on, but we are going to look at a verse which helps us possibly identify this place as fitting into the verse. So first thing I'd like to point out is the width of the wall. So look at this. Look how wide this wall is. Let's make strides. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and almost 5 big strides. Almost 5 big strides. Why would we need a wall so wide? And how high was the wall? Let's start with how high. There is a certain ratio of base to height, which based on that, we can estimate the height of the wall. Are meters, probably about 8 meters high. That is the estimated height based on the wall and the ratio. Now, why such a wide wall? Because the Assyrians were coming. And what was significant about that? That the Assyrians had very unique war tactics, battle tactics, and siege tactics. And one of the things that they had was siege tanks. Now, from the Lachish reliefs currently in the British Museum, you can see these siege tanks along a siege ramp besieging the city of Lachish, which eventually fell to Sennacherib. And here is a rendering in David Usishkin's book of what it would have looked like where you have people pushing it from the inside with the battling ramp, archers, and here's a bucket of water to pour over all this leather if they were shot by archers with fire in the arrows, and there are torches being thrown down. So, well, there's a lot of action going on there, but that is why you needed such an extra thick wall, because it was a serious threat, and having a mere wall was not enough. You want it to be unassailable, and even that wasn't necessarily enough. Now let's go and identify what are the things that help us. Let's see the verse that help us identify the wall, possibly. So you see, every time we come down here, we're looking right outside at somebody's window. So there's the privacy aspect of it as well. There's also what's fascinating is the composition of the wall. Look at that. Ooh. Have another one of these, you can make a spark. Flint. Well, we are now standing on the western hill of the old city. But look, what's curious is that this house, these walls, are built in an angle to the wall of the city. This wall of the city is basically running through the house, which is so curious, right? So one of the suggestions of an explanation for a verse in Yeshayahu 22:9 and 10, Isaiah, is a prophecy which seems to be trying to comfort us in a very distressing situation of the Assyrian invasion, which is followed by a description of Shevna, the scribe, who, as we know, rebelled as well. And the Talmud in Sanhedrin goes into depth about his rebellion going against Hezekiah, trying to create a coup to get people to open the gates, all that story. In any event, the verse goes like this. You have seen the many, plenty breaches in the city of David. And you have gathered the waters of the lower pool, which may be referring to the redirection of the Siluan, of the Shiloach, of the Gihon spring into the city, another one of the industries done by Hezekiah in preparation for the Assyrian invasion. And you've accounted for all the buildings in Jerusalem. And you have shattered the houses in order to build the wall. These are walls that have been built on top of, very possibly with stones from these very same walls, in order to fortify the city and to prepare for the invasion. And what's fascinating is that this really lasted for a very, very short time and was built on top of. So this is a story from Tanakh, which brings together archaeology, history, and stories here from the old city of Jerusalem. And I hope you enjoy. And next time you visit the British Museum, you go to see the throne room of King Sennacherib with the siege of Lachish, and you'll be able to see what it was that we were preparing for when this was built. And you'll also notice why, you'll be able to think about why is it that he makes such a big deal about the conquest of Lachish if he failed to destroy Jerusalem. Thank you for now. Shabbat Shalom.